Good morning, dear respected Thầy, beloved Sangha, dear friends. Today is April 11th, 2021, and we are in the Ocean of Peace Meditation Hall in Deer Park Monastery. But we are not always here. Some of you might know that at times the monastics are allowed to go on a home visit. Every couple of years for a couple of weeks, and we visit family, connect with parents, siblings, aunties, uncles, cousins, walk through the streets of the city we grew up in, meet friends. And it was on one of these home visits when I was walking through the beautiful streets of my city, and I ran into an old friend. And my old friend was walking with let's call her a new friend. And my old friend said, "Oh my God, hi, what a surprise." And I said, "Yeah, hi, I'm on a home visit." And the new friend looked at me and said, "Hi." And I said, "Hi." And then my old friend kindly introduced me and said, "This is my old friend. He's a Buddhist monk, isn't that cool?" And the new friend looked at me, smiled and said, "Yeah, that's really cool." And I said, "Yeah, it's really cool." You know? And we smiled at each other. A little bit too long, I found. And looking at the new friend, I thought, she's going to ask me a question. And fair enough, the new friend said, "Can I ask you a question?" And I said, "Sure, what is it?" And then she became a little bit more serious. I could see there is something on her heart. And she said, "How do you let go?" And I what? I thought it's an easy question. This is a Dharma talk filling topic. But I didn't want to disappoint her. And I didn't want to spend hours there. So luckily a brilliant idea came up. And I raised my hands, cupped, and I said, just like this, opened them up, and blew a little. You want to do that? You want to do that for me? And feel how it feels like, if it's comparable to letting go. You just raise your hands, cupped, open it, and but it is difficult when you hear it the first time. So she tilted her head a little bit and looked at me like this, and I said, it needs probably more explanation. So I said, it's just like releasing a bird that needed the warmth of your hand for a moment and is ready to fly away again. And you just give it a little push so it will fly off. And then we all smiled, and I think she got the message, but of course there is much more to it. And I never forgot this story, this encounter. So today I hope I can follow up and explain more what was also on my heart. Thầy says, letting go is an art, is a practice. And not because you have to have painting skills or to know a gallerist, but because of the process of letting go. Because letting go is a liberating act. You give something away, and it's not actually that you lose something, but you're creating something, you're offering something, and you're expressing yourself, and you're liberating yourself. Thầy says, which strikes me a lot, letting go gives us freedom. And freedom is the only condition for happiness. And he continues, when in our heart we still cling to anything, material possessions, ideas, fears, we cannot be free. And we cannot be happy, truly happy. And I love this teaching. And I wonder how this beautiful process, this artful process of letting go can be so difficult for us and so cause so much suffering. And I don't know what the new friend was wanting to let go of. It sounded to me like a relationship. Maybe she broke up, or her partner broke up with her, and she was still like missing him or her. Sometimes we're in relationships that are not really fulfilling anymore. They come to an end, but we don't become sometimes even hurtful. But we cannot end them because we're so in it. We lived in there for so long that we are afraid to let go. We don't know what comes after. Although in most cases it can't be any worse than the situation we are in, but still we are afraid, and at least we are familiar with the suffering we are in. So we would not allow us to let go, being afraid of what will come if there is something to come. And I want to compare this inability or this fear of letting go with pack rats. You know pack rats. Everybody of us knows at least one pack rat. These are people who collect things, who hoard things, right? And on a material basis, I've found that these are mostly people, war or post-war generation, who really had to live with nothing, who then, after the war is over and they can build their life, they just take care that they will never come into this situation again, and save things, food, furniture, documents, everything. My parents are pack rats. They're getting better though. So I think everybody knows these material pack rats. And we are unable to let these things go because there's this fear, what happens if I need that? And often they go bad, food goes bad, furniture, no, we'll never use it, they're in the attic or in the basement, and we'll never even touch it. But we always think maybe one day we will need them, and we cling to that. And by clinging to that, as Thầy says, we cannot really be free. And not being really free, we cannot truly be happy, because there is still something with us, makes us more heavy. And just as much as material pack rats, I've found, talking about relationships, there are also emotional pack rats, like who are carrying their partners that broke up with them a year ago and they just cannot forget them. Those people who suffer from the state of the world, of how people behave, and they just cannot get over it. They just cannot let go that it is, and release their suffering. People have ideas. They are these idealistic pack rats. They are righteous. They always know what to do and what is right. And if you're not their opinion, you're just wrong. And actually they create also suffering for the persons who they believe are wrong, because what I do is right, so you must be wrong. And I'll come back to that later. There are those more difficult and complex inabilities to let go, and Thầy speaks about that too. This is when you have experienced hurtful or traumatic, when you had hurtful or traumatic experiences in the past, and they keep coming back because there was so much pain, and also out of fear and self-protection that this never happens again, you are always reminding yourself of this situation. Maybe it was because it was so hurtful, maybe it is because you want to be just aware that conditions are not coming together again for such a situation. But also here, it is true that we don't heal these events in the past. We have to heal them in the here and now, and we have to let them go and to realize that we are not back there in the past anymore, and that conditions have changed, and that we are a different person that could respond differently to that situation. But it's complex. Thầy compares it to watching a movie on a big screen and trying to talk to the actors. And he says, "Hello, how are you?" And the actors just don't pay any attention to him, right? And he's trying, "Hello, do you want to drink a cup of tea with me?" And the actors just doing their thing, because we are talking to an image. We are not talking to reality, to life, to the here and now, but we're talking to memories we have in our head, and we won't get an answer there. So in order to heal the past, we have to embrace the here and the now. Neuroscience says that the average lifespan of the average emotion is 45 seconds. That means if you are feeling angry or sad, frustrated, anything, your body produces hormones, shows reactions, gets tight, tense. And these signals in the body are in there for around 45 seconds. So if you, now you know it, if you feel angry longer than 45 seconds, maybe an hour or a day or even 5 days, you need your mind to keep that anger going. That means your body is able to let go. It's a swell of hormones, and it will let go of it. And the mind goes with that swell, because it affects the brain, but it stays up there. It says, "But I'm so angry because I'm right, and you made me angry, and I cannot forgive you, and I won't forgive you until you apologize." And that person maybe doesn't even know what's going on. What's going on? You're so angry. I'm not angry. You just need to apologize. So we keep it alive in our head instead of letting it go. In Buddhism, we call this the second arrow. Given the situation, why ever, but we have such weird teachings like from the past. Given the situation that somebody shoots you with an arrow, like in your shoulder, and of course it hurts, right? There's pain. So that's the initial emotion neuroscience is talking about, the first kind of pain. Now this would subside, but if our mind kicks in and keeps that alive instead of taking it out or tendering it and taking care of the wound, but by saying, "Who shot me? Why did he shoot me? When I see that person, I will strike him down." And we build up this revenge and anger, and we call that the second arrow, because it hurts just as much as the first, but is a self-inflicted arrow, self-inflicted pain. Just as when we keep our anger alive, our frustration, our sadness alive, because we are not able to let go. And they are third and fourth. I think everybody knows it. When you look honestly at yourself, we shoot non-stop arrows at ourselves. The first arrow is actually the easiest. That very home visit, I talked with my dad. And you have to know that monastics are terrible people. When they come home, they want to teach their parents. They want to tell them, actually, I wanted to just share the beauties I have experienced in my life of practice and share them with my parents, in this case with my dad, so he can also be a more happy person and just as happy as I am. So I'm telling him, what do you think if you eat a little bit less of this and more of that? Or you really need to watch TV so much, or maybe you can cut off some, or what about you air your... And he's very compassionate. He's listening to all my good man suggestions, and then he said, "My dear son, I really appreciate your care for me, but I'm too old to change. You know, you don't change me anymore." And I thought, oof. But I would not be his son if I wouldn't be determined. So I said, oh dear Dad, I hear you. But even if you don't change, the whole world around you is changing like a big clockwork. And if you don't change with that world around you, it will just crunch you up. And you will suffer a lot. And he looked at me, and he took it in, and he stopped, and I saw he was looking deeply into this little teaching of mine. Letting go and change in order not to get crunched up in the wheel of life, the Dharma wheel, the wheel of time, but to keep flowing. There are people who live in the past, like when I see these people with cowboy hats and vests, and they just live in the Western time. They love it so much that they read these Western novels and watch Western movies. And these are the people who say, oh, like in the past, everything was better. We had horses, and the horses didn't contribute to climate change like the cars today. And the hippies, they say, oh, we are a generation of love. Yeah, you are, but you are stuck in the 70s, and you are stuck in the 50s. And they're not able to change. They attach to something what is very dear to them, and they're not able to change. And by this inability, they will suffer because everything else is changing. Let us stop for a moment and look into the changes within us while listening to one sound of the bell. Deep inside of us, we know, all of us know, and we experience it every moment, that everything is changing at all times. Like the earth is spinning around itself, orbiting the sun. We have seasons, we have days, our lives come and go. Even our bodies renew themselves every moment. When Thầy teaches with a smile on his face, saying there are so many cells dying in every moment inside of us that we cannot catch up conducting so many funeral ceremonies. And in the very same instant, there are so many new cells manifesting that we can't catch up celebrating so many birthday parties. So we are truly anew every moment, and our body knows how to let go and to renew itself. It's only the mind that would like to identify and grasp and cling to something. Gives them safety. But letting go is impermanence. And everything is impermanent. Rumi calls it the universe in ecstatic motion. I shall tell this my dad. The universe in ecstatic motion. So we need that growth. Thầy speaks about how a sapling could never grow a tree if it wouldn't go through that process of change and of growth. Children would not grow up to adults. And yet there are children who don't want to grow up. Very famous children, Peter Pan. Everybody knows Peter Pan, and everybody thinks he's a really happy child. He refused to grow up. He can play all day and bully this pirate and play with his friends and even gain more friends because they're so attracted to this life of being carefree and just playing. But if you look carefully and deeply into the story, and you see when Peter Pan brings back these two siblings to the window of their room and brings them back to their parents, and they reunite with their parents, and he stays outside and watches. You can realize the longing, and it is beautifully written, the longing, seeing the kids reuniting with the parents, seeing that home, having a home. Yes, having somebody who tells you when to sleep, what to eat, and how to dress, but having a home and changing, growing. So I believe Peter Pan just created a beautiful comfort zone for himself, where he believed more or less that everything is fun and play, but deep inside it was not really fulfilling. And that's what comfort zones are, I think. They give us a safe place, safe space, comfort, but they're also a bit of boring because there's nothing happening. We are in a set boundary that we set for ourselves. So letting go can be setting a prisoner free and realizing the prisoner was us. A very wise soul once said, if we let go of the life we have planned, we will be able to live the life that is waiting for us. And I'm like, what? There's a life actually waiting for me? And you know it, like we plan our lives ahead just to be sure everything is happening as we can take it and as we want it. And if something comes in between, we suffer and we don't want to accept it. But if we realize that we are imprisoning ourselves with all our plans, step by step, moment by moment, day by day, we are planning our life to death. And there is actually a life waiting out there. I'm really curious what this life could look like. I really want to encounter this life because I know the life I would plan gives me security, safety, comfort, but I really now want to live the life that is waiting for me. So letting go can be a real relief and give us freedom, as Thầy says, and make us fearless, because we learn by giving up our plans, letting go of our ideas, there is something. It's not like that there is an abyss and I will fall into and die. No, there is provision. There is life is still there, beyond our letting go. In our incense offering chant, there is a line saying, fearlessly and compassionately, the stream of our ancestral teachers to whom we bow in gratitude. Now fearlessly and compassionately, the stream of our ancestral teachers. Why are they fearless? Why are they compassionate? Why are they a stream? So our teachers here go back right to the Buddha. And the Buddha was teaching the Dharma, and his disciples were receiving the Dharma from him, and they transmitted it to their disciples. And they received it and practiced it and transmitted it to their disciples. And it is a stream, and the stream flows through us here. So we are receiving it in this lifetime through Thầy, and Thầy received it from his teacher. He transmitted it to us. We are living it, we're practicing it, and we're transmitting it. I'm transmitting it to my dad. We're transmitting it further on, right? So this is the stream, the ever-changing stream. And they're fearless because they are not afraid that they will die. Because it's much bigger than us. We live in order to transmit the Dharma, and the Dharma will live. And we guarantee that. So there is nothing to fear. And we do that out of compassion. Out of compassion for ourselves, because we learn how to suffer or how to not suffer. And also for future generations. We're talking about habit energies, how many habit energies of our blood ancestors were transmitted to our grandparents, parents, to us. And it's only through the practice of mindfulness, compassion and fearlessness, looking deeply and letting go, that we can divert unwholesome streams of habit energies and nourish and transmit wholesome seeds of habit energies to future generations, so that slowly but steadily we grow a more beautiful person, a more beautiful community, a more beautiful society, a more beautiful world, breath by breath. Do you know relay races? I compare it to that too. It's a more modern example. A relay race where usually 4 runners run around the stadium and hand over that relay stick. But life is more an infinite number of runners, like the ancestral stream has an infinite number of runners. Now imagine one runner runs around and now it comes close to transmitting the stick. And the next runner already gains speed, you know how it works, gains speed, so he can just continue and make the best time. And the one who is reaching out to give him the stick says, no, I cannot let go of this. You know, I carried it around all this time and it became so dear to me, no, I don't want to pass it on. So what happens is the first runner will either stop or he will run without a stick and cannot transmit it to the next runner. Who wants this? So this is a consequence of not letting go. We create suffering. We stop the river of life, the ancestral stream, the stream of life, and we get stuck. So letting go really matters. Letting go is to learn to be without that, what we are letting go of. To be without that. To be with that loss. And to be with that pain, to be alone, to be with ourselves. We learn to be with ourselves. Letting go is to know that everything changes and to be fine. To know I'm taken care of. It's okay. I can let it go. It will be okay. Can we have another sound of the bell, please? Now how to let go? Like how can we do it? And we got to remember 5 things. Does anybody have a clue what these 5 things are we have to remember? Huh? Our 5 fingers, sure. We have to remember we have 5 fingers. The 5 skandhas, we have to remember the 5 skandhas. But I'm talking about remembering the 5 remembrances. We have 5 remembrances, which are a beautiful practice to remind us of letting go, to remind us of impermanence. And I have them here, and I want to read them out to you so I don't miss their wholeness and their beauty. The 5 remembrances. The first is, I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. And the second is, I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape ill health. And the third is, and it's getting worse, I am of the nature to die. And you know what? There is no way to escape death. And the fourth, all that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature to change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. And the last one, my actions are my only true belongings. I cannot escape the consequences of my actions. My actions are the ground upon which I stand. And I know this might sound a little bit dark and negative, because we tend to try to ignore these remembrances, these truths, because each one of them is true. And I believe it's the fear, not that we really believe that we will never die, but I also see that science and many people are working actually to extend physical life or to work on immortality, to try to transfer consciousness from the body into, I don't know, a computer. So there's this deep wish to live forever. There's also a deep wish to be always healthy and beautiful, never sick. But the truth is different. And I believe if we are able to let go of first the idea that we live forever, or that those people who I love, my partner, my brothers, my sisters, will always be there, but they might move to another center. They might go somewhere. I will lose things. People die, friends, family. And to becoming at peace with that, seeing that's the river of life. I will practice to learn to live without them, to live with the loss, to live with the pain, to live being alone, to live with myself. And they also encourage and inspire us, these 5 remembrances, to really and truly and fully live in this very moment, because we know we cannot take it for granted. And we will get old, and we will get sick, and we will die, and things around us will change and will vanish and abandon us. And everything what we do is actually the only thing we possess. Our thinking, our speaking, our actions, our only true belongings. And that's a very hopeful message, I found, because this empowers us to put our actions into this very moment, to live this very moment, this very life fully, knowing it won't be here. Sometimes we behave like we live forever, like we procrastinate, and also as monastics, we are encouraged in the first book we need to read, Stepping into Freedom, the infamous novice book with the fine manners and the encouragements of Master Guishan. They all speak about use every moment, seize the moment. We don't know when it's over, we don't know what is tomorrow. We have to pursue the wisdom. There's nothing to wait for. Life is happening here and now. I want to write them down just so we have them visually, and that you can maybe remember easier the remembrances. I'm a visual guy, so I remember better seeing things. Let's see. Fire. 5 remembrances. The first one is we get old and there's no escape. And that's for me personally a bit frustrating. I'm a very positive, life-affirming person who thinks there is always a way. And reading There Is No Escape does something with me. And looking honestly into myself, I see also there is this wish of things to stay as they are, to create a beautiful thing and to leave it there. Have a sunny day and press pause, so life stops there. You remember the movie Groundhog Day, where Bill Murray, he lived, each and every day was the very same. He woke up with the same alarm, with the same song on the alarm clock. He encountered the same situations, the same people, I don't know for how many years. And only when he learned to love himself, to love the people around him, to cherish what is around him, the good times, the bad times. He learned to see when people were in need, and he managed to be there at that time of the day and help them. And slowly he transformed. And when he had found love inside, he woke up one morning and it was a new day. A beautiful movie. No escape. Well, I say now it is up to us. Then we get sick. And same, no escape, getting sick. Now we get dead. Let's say we die. We die, but let me tell you, it's the same, there's no escape. So why struggle? If there is no escape, and I have to get old, and I have to get sick, and I have to die, why should I struggle with it? Why is it so difficult to swim against the stream and trying to prevent it or to procrastinate it? And we don't need to run towards death and say, here I am, I'm sacrificing myself, but we can flow with that stream and just be in there where life is at all times, at every moment. Here, we get abandoned, I said. Things that are dear to us and people will not be there one day. Abandoned. And there is no escape. As much as I care for my dad, that he eats the right things and takes his medicine, I'll have to acknowledge that one day he will still pass. And that's a good thing, as we saw with the ancestral stream, because he transmitted, he sacrificed, he offered himself, his heart to his children. And we continue him and my mom, of course. So one day, when he sees, I've done my part here, I've contributed, and here's my continuation, I can go, I'm free. The thing is, I believe more to, there must be a reason to die, right? So the body has to fail at one point. I think my care for my dad is just that he has a pleasant transition. That's what I care for. I accept the stream of life, but I want to have it also gracefully and peacefully and in a dignified way. But also, this fosters only more compassion and care, self-care for myself, care for the people, knowing one day they won't be there anymore. Let's cherish them and care for them. And actions. Actions are true belongings. And that's what I'm saying now, is our attitude, how we approach this truth, these 5 truths. We can struggle and we can deny, we can try to run away from them or say, no, that's not valid for me. Or we can accept them and make the best out of them. What these actions are, and whatever we do, it will have consequences. And these consequences will have an impact on our life and an impact on the life of the people around us. And having choice in every moment, what we do, because we know of the consequences of our actions. We can select which seeds in our consciousness we want to water, which seeds in the other person we want to water seeds and values that we would like to continue when we are not here anymore. And this, to me, makes a life much shorter. It makes a day out of a life. So when I live my day as if it would be my whole life, this is what I mean by putting all your love, all your energy into what you do. Thầy, he wrote a very beautiful guided meditation on the 5 remembrances. And I recorded it, and I infused it with music and put it on YouTube. And I'm advertising it here for you. Maybe you want to practice these 5 remembrances as a guided meditation. And you find it on YouTube. It's called Fire, a music infused meditation. We can also post the link maybe below this video. It's a very transformative and powerful practice to let that in and change our perspective, the way we look at people, the way we look at ourselves. That's one way how we can practice letting go from inside. Another thing is like our daily practice. Walking meditation has a lot to do with letting go. We practiced walking meditation this morning, and a sister was beautifully explaining. You see, when we are standing, it's a very, very safe space we are at. Like we can move to the right, to the left, we can bend and look up to the sky, but we feel very safe. It's our personal little comfort zone here. But what we cannot is, we cannot be there. Because if we don't walk there, we will always be here in our comfort zone, in our safe space, and we will say, how beautiful that is. Oh, I would like to pick that flower, but no, I stay here. It's safe here, it's good. So if we want to walk, that means we grow, and we grow out of our comfort zone. It takes something, it is a loss because we lose our stability, but it's worth a try. And I would like to invite my 2 feet to start and try it. And I see already they don't really, they feel too comfortable here. And left foot is saying to right foot, who's going to start? He said, you go, you start. Remember last time I started and then you lost balance and we fell. And left foot says, yeah, fair enough, I remember that. So, okay, I'll start. And right foot says, okay, and I really take refuge here in the ground, in Mother Earth, and you can rely on me. And left foot says, are you sure? Can I really rely on you? Yes, you can. So left foot goes like this. Letting go, letting go, letting go of the ground, and here we are. Woo, I'm flying. That's great. And then coming down and touching, now I'm safe. And the right foot goes now. We're walking. I'm letting go now, left foot, stay there, stay there. Whoa, I'm flying. And that's what we do when we practice walking meditation. One foot arrives, one foot is letting go and trusting the other foot. I arrive, I let go. I arrive, I let go. I am home, I'm flying. So beautiful. And you see, we can even more take refuge, the foot that is connected with Mother Earth. I can put all my trust in it. And my left foot feels safe, and it can actually play, saying, I know you are there, and I'm very happy. See how happy I am. And then I offer the same thing for you. So walking can be a beautiful practice of letting go. Same is true with breathing. We're breathing the whole day, but especially during sitting meditation, when we spare some minutes every day to consciously breathe and put all our presence and awareness into the sitting and into the breathing. We're breathing in and we're breathing out. And we're breathing in and we're breathing out. Just by putting our awareness into that process, that we're not breathing in and then breathing in, but that we're breathing in and then breathing out. We had letters with questions coming in, asking for advice at sitting meditation, saying, sometimes I feel so at bliss when I sit down and I calm my mind, and sometimes I suffer so much, so I believe I do something wrong. Can you help me? And I thought, I didn't say that, but I thought, yeah, sure. So next time you feel so blissful during your sitting meditation, just stop breathing out, stay with it, blissful feeling, and see what happens. And of course, what will happen is we will die. We have to breathe out. We cannot, in a beautiful moment, just stay there. As I said, I would sometimes like to pause life and keep it forever. And that's the beauty of life. We are breathing in and we're breathing out. And I'll tell you a secret, a meditation secret. You can, while you're sitting and breathing in and out, you can say, breathing in, I'm letting go of my out-breath. Breathing out, I'm letting go of my in-breath. Just as the left foot has to release the security of the ground, the safety, and give rise to the right foot, and the right foot to the left foot, the same is true with the in-breath and the out-breath. Okay, letting go of this Dharma talk slowly. I want to conclude. At the same home visit, we're going back to the home visit, I witnessed my parents arguing over something. they were like, you said that, and my dad said, no, I didn't, and my mom, yes, you did. And it went back and forth, and I was watching it, and at one point my dad said, you know what, you're right, and I'm at peace. And I was looking at them, and I said, that's cool. Probably doesn't have the effect my dad wished it had, like that my mom was happy because she thought he's offending her, like, yeah. But I found this was very deep, because what did my dad do here? My dad was in this argue, discussing with the person he loves if he said something or not. And they said, yes, you did. Who was right? Who was wrong? Until he thought, like, it doesn't matter, you know, if I said it or not, if she's right or I'm right. Even if I'm right, this is not how I want to be with the person I love. So let her be right, and the situation is at peace. And I found he showed so much heart with that. So rather than discussing it further and getting to his right, even if he is right, he set his priority and preferred to create peace inside of him and peace with his wife. And I found it very, very loving. I was very touched seeing that. And I wish that our global leaders, our religious leaders, would have some of my dad's heart, and not fighting over who is right or who has the right dogma or politic or law or whatever, but to focus on the peace and on the harmony and the consequences of our actions. Even for me in my daily life, I can really take that as a great inspiration in my interactions with my sisters and brothers. When I insist on something, that I can just ask myself, what is most important to me now? Is it more important to be right, or is it more important to be at peace with my brother, with myself? Yes. So we heard that the only permanent thing probably is impermanence. And if you train yourself to take refuge in impermanence, to find solidity in change, you will not need anything to hold on to. You won't need to cling. And when there is nothing to hold on to, there is nothing to let go. It's very easy. So please train yourself every day a little, letting go of something material, something ideal, and you will grow confident, and you will grow safe in change and fearless, because you know there is a life waiting for me. Learn to swim in the river of life and become a free and happy person. Thank you.
So, dear respected Thầy, dear brothers and sisters, thank you, Peace Bloom Flowers, for a wonderful, profound Dhamma talk by Brother Freedom. And so after this, at 11:30, we will have Dhamma sharing in this meditation hall, and we'll have one group together in. And after that, then we'll have lunch together in Solidity Hamlet's dining hall. And should be hungry by then. So thank you, brothers. Thank you, dear friends at home. And have a wonderful rest of the day. And enjoy your lazy afternoon here at Deer Park.